Ebenezer, greetings everyone. My name is Prophet Chike Jideonwo of the Ebenezer Prophetic and Deliverance Ministry. So today I'll be talking about ancestral altars and how to deal with ancestral altars. What is an altar? An altar can be described as a spiritual airport where spirits land and where spirits take off. An altar can be described as a meeting point, a place where humanity meets divinity. An altar is a place where the visible meets the invisible. An altar can be described as a launching point, a place of agreements, a place where destinies are made and destinies can be altered. You see, nobody can effectively place a curse upon you without the backing of an altar. Christians have been taught about heaven and hell, salvation, your vision, 5 steps to prosperity, 5 steps to see the glory of God. But yet the same Christians are wallowing in curses and hardship and are manifesting wickedness. Why? The people in the world, the spiritualists, the witches, they understood this, which is in the Bible, but the Christian, an average Christian, is lazy. No little wonder Paul said, Timothy, research, study to show thyself approved. You see, every time you have given a seed, you have sown seed. I was speaking to a dearest sister in Sweden, and she was telling me, lamenting seriously, how she has sown seed and sacrificed, and yet she's suffering. Is it that the man of God isn't powerful, isn't effective? Is it that his prayers are no longer effective? Is it that God is not hearing prayers? No. The problem emanates from an altar. Nobody can effectively place a curse on you without the backing of an altar. A blessing cannot just come just like that, even from God, without the basis of an altar. Go to Exodus 20:24. What did God say? Make me an earthly altar. Meaning, if there are different kinds of altar. If we have an earthly altar, we might have a bedroom altar. We might have a personal altar. We might have a heavenly altar, an earthly altar. Why? So every seed you sow shall be prosperous. Make me an earthly altar where I can always come, meet you there, and bless you. In Exodus 20:24, and God said, make me an earthly altar, sacrifice A, B, C, D. And anywhere my name is mentioned, I will come down upon this altar and bless thee. Remember, the prophet, I'm always confusing this name, Balak or Balaam. Remember the incident. The king said, come and curse these people. Why don't you just go and curse? He began to raise an altar. He began to sacrifice. I thought you are hearing what I'm saying. Kliktos vida brakot beneku vini epalos vaiden mini katos ketimine adederia. He said he began to raise an altar. How many times? Killed bulls upon bulls. Christian, somebody is raising an altar against you. Somebody is placing a curse. That is why you have been fired mysteriously from your job. That is why you cannot have a stable job. That is why oh Maleni Katov Vidikas Krobrenina. Somebody's raising altar, sacrificing, and you are there quoting scriptures. God respects principles. Obedience is the platform, the foundation. Abraham, go and sacrifice your son. He went. As soon as he raised the knife up, he said, now I know you love me. Now I know. From this altar that you have raised, and Abraham called that altar Jehovah Jireh. You see, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Rofeka, Jehovah Ra. These are names of altars, evidence of what he has done. How many times have you raised an altar? Every time you have sown a seed, you have given, you have sacrificed. Every time you have invested in a relationship and you are reaping disappointment, you are being scammed, you are failing. Every time you are expecting breakthrough, instead what you are getting is Amalekites coming to destroy everything you have. Know that you are having issues with an altar. You are dealing with an altar. You are facing, a man leaves you. Now he's going to marry someone else. You are dealing with an altar. Your issue is not your brother, your stepbrother, your stepmother, your uncle. The problem is an altar. You have to understand that the battle is not between you and your brother. Cain did not understand that. So Cain raised an altar. Abel raised his son. Out of envy, Cain murdered Abel. As soon as the blood of Abel touched the floor of the altar, he began to speak. The fact that Cain also has raised an altar, this opened an avenue for God to come down, begin to speak to him. Cain, where is your brother? And Cain said, am I my brother's keeper? A murderer, and God can come down, begin to speak to him. It is not saying you are a Christian. Cain, a murderer, God came down and began to negotiate with him. How much more you? From the foundations of the earth, from the world, Christ was sacrificed as the lamb on an altar. After Jesus died, guess what happened? If Jesus had died and not resurrected, he would have left us in the same position. But as soon as he resurrected from the dead, he lives, so we live. He has overcome, so we shall also overcome. The Bible said he ascended above all heavens to where? This goes to show God is not in heaven. Heaven is where God manifests. Heaven is his throne. The earth is his footstool. The Bible said Jesus resurrected, placed the blood on an altar. Revelation chapter 8 verse 3 or so. There is a golden altar in front or just before the throne of God. Jesus' blood is on an altar called the mercy seat, throne of God. From there, he begins to intercede for you and I. If the blood of Abel can speak, God said, Cain, the voice, the voice of thy brother's blood. What is the blood? What was the blood saying? Father, forgive him. Have mercy. He was only jealous. But now the blood of Jesus is not only speaking for one man, he's now speaking for the whole world. They could have killed Jesus earlier on in his ministry, but he had to be on an altar, Golgotha. I told you, no one can bless you. No one can place a curse on you without the backing of an altar. You see, you have to understand that a curse is the easiest thing to break. A curse is the easiest thing to break. A curse, you have to speak a blessing. You speaking a curse to a situation that is a curse changes nothing. It only creates a vacuum, a void. In the spiritual realm, there is no void. Now, if there was a curse here, you curse it. It does not bring blessing. What happens? There is now a vacuum here. Another curse comes to take the place. And so you see in a family of 5 girls, none is married. Or you see children that they are always before they get married, they must have a child outside wedlock. How do you break this? You have to raise an altar. It has to be altar versus altar. How many times have you declared prosperity? I declare prosperity. Last year, you declared prosperity. I am entering my husband's house. Now you are as single as number 1. Why? You declare so many things, but because it is void, there is no altar backing what you are saying. It looks as if God is not efficient. Go and look at Genesis 35. You see, Genesis 35, read down. What happened? Every time God has delivered you, wherever God has saved you from a situation, anytime he wants to bless you, or anytime you are seeing some difficulties, go back to Bethel. Go back. In Genesis 35, God is saying, go, return to Bethel and build me an altar. I will visit you there and bless you. What happened? Jacob got back to the place. He told his people, remove your idols. Idols. Most especially your earrings. Why? Anything that has power to, any voice that has control over your ears, has power to speak in your ears 24/7, has control over your heart. So they pulled their earrings, and the Bible said he raised an altar and called it El Bethel. I'm doing this teaching because you have to understand that the Bible described you as a living sacrifice. What is a sacrifice? Where does a sacrifice, where is it used? On an altar. And so you can take a sacrificial seed, an altar seed, and go to your prophet who knows about altars. You can't be giving effectively to God without the presence of an altar. An altar is a point of contact between the visible and the invisible. Elijah had battle. I've said this and I'll round up. Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal, 1,000 prophets of Baal. And Elijah, they were not battling, they were not struggling, they were not challenging each other to see who will perform the most miracle. No. What they were doing was to see which altar is the most effective, whose God is most powerful. And what happened? When the prophets of Baal set up their altar, were cutting themselves, screaming and shouting from sun up to sundown, what happened? Elijah was mocking and saying, shout the more, maybe Baal went to the market. Listen, when he got to Elijah's turn, he reconstructed the altar. Probably you have raised an altar in the past. You used to have an altar. You don't understand what is happening anymore with your life, your career, your relationship. It is time for you to recreate, renovate, re-establish, rearrange your altar. The Bible said he put 12 stones. 12 talks about government. Jesus could not begin his ministry until he had 12 disciples. He arranged 12 stones. He put the stick. He now poured water and called on God. After setting up an altar, you call upon God. God will surely come down with the fire. What happened? The fire licked the water dry, consumed the wood, the stones. After showing that my altar is the most powerful, my God is a living God, what did the Bible say? Elijah took a sword and slaughtered 1,000 prophets of Baal. Why did they not run? The Bible did not say they fought or they battled, they struggled. No. He killed every one of them, 1,000. What happened? They were now helpless. Why? Their altar has been disgraced. Every time you raise a more effective altar, it silences the voice of any ancient altar speaking against you. You meet a prophet that knows about altar. He separates you from ancient altar, the type of wicked and dangerous altars that will be asking, who is the Lord of all that I will open? Something happened when God sent Moses to Pharaoh. What happened? First, he began to destroy their altars, their gods. Number one, he destroyed the god of snake. That altar, the serpent god. He destroyed that, made a fool, disgraced them. That one was gone. What other god? Nile. They call it the god of life, bringer of life or something. He made the river Nile blood. Messed them up, messed their altars up. What happened? After he has disgraced all the altars, Pharaoh bowed. Why was God looking for his people? I need my people to go and serve and sacrifice for me. He wanted people to raise altars, a place of contact. My dear brother, my dear sister, where are you struggling? Where is the struggle? You see, there are different ways to raise an altar. You can raise an altar in the person of your prophet. I hope you understand that you wrestle not against flesh and blood. Your problem is not your stepmother. Your problem is not your father. He's not, and so what? He's occultic. My uncle is occultic. And so what? Your problem is not your stepsister. The problem is the absence of an altar. If you effectively raised a stronger altar than the one your enemies raising, it silences and disgraces the other altar, makes them silent. And now you can slaughter them. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Ebenezer greetings, everyone. My name is Prophet Chike Jideonwo, and I love you all.